were fishing again and it was the dead of summer. I told my friend
so
today
I'm
is the
looking
day
for
we
the
get his
nether.
brother back.
I know I said I wasn't gonna do this, but I really can't find blaze rods by myself. Here, I'll quickly show you. I even went like 1,000 blocks away, and I still couldn't even find it. I found a bastion. Actually, 2 bastions.
Approximately 5 years ago, the internet was locked in one of the most heated debates ever witnessed in the history of utterly pointless internet debates. The debate wasn't about politics, someone getting canceled, a YouTube drama, or a controversial Twitch ban. It was even more pointless. It was a disagreement regarding the true color of this dress. The answer to the question of what color or colors is this dress might seem obvious, but it turns out it actually wasn't. In one of those glitch in the matrix type moments, the answer seemed to depend on whoever you ask. People could not come to a unanimous agreement on what the hell color this thing actually was. And because of that, a shitstorm ensued. Today I want you all to hop on the magic tapestry with me. Let's go back in time and revisit this moment of internet history, and also get to the bottom of what really was the true color of this fabled piece of fabric. Before we go too deep though, I need to show you guys the sponsor of today's video. Let me see if I can get a grab on it here. Ugh. Oh yeah. A photo of the dress that she had planned to wear to the wedding on her Facebook page. And that's where Caitlin first saw it. A nice looking dress for sure, but there was something about it that had Caitlin confused. She couldn't exactly pinpoint the true color of it. Sometimes it looked white and gold, but looking at the dress later in the day, the colors of the dress seemed to magically transform to blue and black. Caitlin was intrigued by the unusual chromatic properties of the dress, and she decided
write this down, everybody. Write this down
via her Tumblr page. Her Tumblr page went under the name Swiped, which was actually a fan page she had created for a YouTube talent manager named Sarah White. Caitlin's post about the dress went up on February 25th, and it read like this. Guys, please help me. Is this dress white and gold or blue and black? Me and my friends can't agree, and we are freaking the fuck out. Science side of Tumblr, help. Please help. And after posting this, it wouldn't take Caitlin long to realize that it wasn't just her and her immediate Facebook group that were confused by the color of this dress. It was the entirety of Tumblr as well. The dress post quickly went viral across the site,
everything we need. Let's go to 0-0 to see how far it is from here.
400,000 notes, in addition to thousands of comments. And in these early comments, you begin to see the two factions of the dress debate emerge. On one side, you had the people who were certain that the dress was white and gold, and on the other side were those confident that it was blue and black. And with the two teams established on the dress situation, this issue would spread outside of Tumblr and would hit the greater internet. A specific hotbed for dress discussion was on Twitter, the mecca of pointless online argumentation. Everybody seemed to be arguing about this damn dress. You even had famous people stepping in to give their 2 cents on the matter.
This is even closer. What? How did I miss this?
Justin Bieber did too. But Kim K, she thought it was white and gold. And even Ellen DeGeneres chimed in with some stupid shit as well. Who gives a fuck? Polls regarding the dress color were popping up left and right. And these polls echoed the split sentiment found within the social media debates. Some polls would give an edge to the white and golders, with the other polls giving an edge to the black and blue camp. Nobody could come to an agreement on what color this dress was, and the issue became so massive that it spread outside of the internet and began to make headlines in mainstream news media.
That darn dress, you know the one I'm talking about, it's been inescapable today, dividing the world between those who see white and gold and those who see blue and black.
This shows the world's internet traffic, the white areas, the number of people discussing that dress.
Take a look at your screen right now. This is the most talked about dress in the world today. What color is the dress? Is it white and gold, or do you see blue and black? The world is divided.
With the public opinion completely torn on the dress issue, it seemed like finding the truth behind the actual color of this dress would be a hopeless endeavor. An internet mystery that would remain unsolved for all eternity. But then the color scientists stepped in. Internet color scientists stepped onto the scene with explanations for why the dress looked different for each person. And their explanations were indeed complicated and boring, but I'll break it down for you in short here. Basically, they said it depended on how your eyes were focused prior to looking at the image. And also it had a lot to do with the white balance and brightness of the screen that you used to view the image. Additionally, they seemed to unanimously agree that the color of the dress was in fact blue and black, claiming that the bright light-filled background skewed the brain's perception of the image in a way sort of transposing the yellow light onto the dress, lending some to perceive it as white and gold when it really wasn't. And there you have it. The color scientists had spoken, the conundrum was solved, right? Well, not quite, because the white and golders weren't going down that easy. For the dress debate to be put to bed, they needed more proof. Well, they would get more proof. The company that made the dress originally, Roman Originals, opted to lend their hand in this matter and actually posted a video showcasing the dress in response to the debacle in a neutral lit setting. And the dress they showed was indeed black and blue.
This is the dress that's gone viral. It's the royal blue bodycon lace dress, retailing at £50. It's fantastic for any figure. The colour of this dress is actually royal blue and black. When I first saw it on Twitter, it did actually look white and gold to me, but it is actually black and blue.
And if the company literally showing the dress wasn't enough proof, the proof to end all proofs would come out a little bit later. The final kill shot to the white and gold camp would be delivered when Deadline News was actually able to obtain a photo of the bride's mother wearing the famous dress. And what was the color of the dress? Blue and black, confirmed.
Nice.
White and golders were forced to retreat with their tails tucked, and blue and black gangs celebrated for being right in an utterly pointless internet debate. Woo! Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for. That's what it's all about. Woo! And that pretty much sums up the entire situation. But this wouldn't be the final, hey guys, what color is this blank debate to ever be held online. In the following years, there would be, what color is this shoe? What color is this purse? What color matches this shoe best? And the more recent audio illusion variants in the form of Yanny versus Laurel.
Actually, can I turn these into kelp blocks? Can't eat them, I know that.
You know, it's a real shame that Vine is no longer a thing. It was such a great platform for short comedy videos, and it spawned countless classic internet memes throughout its existence. Iridocyclitis, Dabbing Squidward, Lil Terrio, Peanut Butter Baby, The Sausage Dance, Why You Always Lying, LeBron James, freaking Hurt Like a Butt Cheek on a Stick.
Mother trucker, dude. That hurt like a butt cheek on a stick.
Oh my god, that's really
man. R.I.P. Vine.
good feel.
TikTok is cool, but it just doesn't hit the same, man. With that said, today I want to show the Vine heads out there some love and cover one of its biggest mysteries. A mystery surrounding one of the biggest vines of all time. That vine, of course, being 9 plus 10 equals 21.
You stupid.
No, not.
What's 9 plus 10?
21.
You stupid.
This video is truly a Vine relic that has accrued a cult-like fan base over the years after it originally gained popularity in 2014. And yeah, on the surface, it's just a funny video, haha, the kid gets the math problem wrong, but there's actually a strange rumor/mystery associated with this video. Basically, there's an old rumor that suggests that after this Vine blew up, the kid in the video got made fun of so much for failing the simple math problem that he ran away from home and was never seen again. A Google search will reveal numerous Reddit threads and forum posts asking about the rumor, with some users adamant that it's true. Today we're going to be getting to the bottom of this 21 kid goes missing rumor and find out how it started in the first place and if it's true at all. And also we're going to be talking a bit about the origins of the 21 kid Vine itself. Let's get into it. Want to give a big shout out to Surfshark VPN for sponsoring today's video. Click the link below to get 83% off your new subscription and 3 months free. And stick around to the end to learn more about Surfshark's features. So to begin, let's rewind the clock back to 2013, Vine's first year on the App Store. 2013 was a time of rapid growth for Vine, and many classic Vine memes were spawned during this time. Vines like the 9 plus 10 equals 21 clip. This video was originally posted June of 2013 by Viner Dre Hype MSU. That being said though, Dre Hype MSU isn't the 21 Kid himself, rather he's the older brother of the 21 Kid. Dre Hype's Vine page early on consisted of videos of him producing music alongside his friends in what looked like an improvised home studio. That video of him asking his brother the 9 plus 10 math question was just a random one-off thing that they never really thought would go anywhere.
What's 9 plus 10?
21.
However, after the video was dormant on Dre Hype's Vine page for over a year, it randomly started getting attention out of nowhere. It started getting a dozen or so revines, then 100 revines, 1,000 revines, all the way up to several 100,000 revines. It absolutely took off. Dre Hype's brother, whose name at the time was not disclosed, became a massive Vine meme, with thousands revining the clip, remixing it, or simply just sharing it with friends via word of mouth.
I thought of something funnier than 24.
Let me hear it.
21.
More food.
Working tonight.
God, shut up.
While the Vine itself was a big hit, it would ultimately be a flash in the pan for Dre Hype's Vine page. He never really followed it up or made a video that was ever as popular as this one. It was the only singular success his page ever enjoyed. Dre Hype and his brother never really blew up in the sense where they could be considered traditional Vine stars, and the Dre Hype page would fall into relative obscurity. But the 21 Kid Vine itself, that's a bit of a different story. It just kept spreading so much to the point where it was shared and stolen so often that it lost the association with the Dre Hype page, and the video became more of just a piece of Vine culture in general. And after the Vine spread so much and the original creators of it being mostly forgotten, this is where the 21 Kid missing rumor comes into play. And I'll preface the next segment with this. While most people enjoyed the 21 Kid Vine for what it was, there were some people out there on the internet having actual serious heated discussions where they chastised this kid for getting the math problem wrong. You know, making fun of him or bullying him. And that being said, with most people only ever seeing the 21 Kid in that one Vine and never seeing him pop up again on the internet, there was a lot of people wondering, like, what the hell happened to him? Then, of course, people suggest that, well, maybe he left Vine or the internet in total because he was being bullied. Speculation about what happened to the 21 Kid would ramp up in October of 2014 after a news article published by Hustlers.com went viral. And this article had some bad news to report about the little guy. I'll read the article here. 9 plus 10 equals 21 Kid has reportedly run away from home and currently being searched for. Read goodbye note here. Baltimore. It has been reported that the African child who is known for his appearance in a Vine video where he wrongly answers 21 when asked what's 9 plus 10 has ran away from his Baltimore home where he lived with his older brother and single mother. The child, whose real name is Habib Sisse, ran away from his home Saturday night and is currently being searched for throughout the whole Baltimore area. Authorities say the child left a goodbye note in his bedroom that read, "I tired of everyone laughing at me. I'm running away forever now. If you want to find me, the only clue I'm leaving is 21. Although the letter was written with horrible grammar, authorities still managed to understand what the note said, but have since failed to locate the child. Little Habib became known through a video posted on the mobile social app Vine and has since become a laughingstock for the whole internet, with everyone thinking Habib is stupid for believing 21 is the sum of 9 and 10. Yep. This one hell of an article seems pretty legit. Now, this article received quite a lot of attention from fans of the 21 Kid Vine, a lot of whom are kids, and it was pretty much taken at face value for whoever stumbled upon it. Fans of the 21 Kid were saddened by the news, and some would take to YouTube to create videos where they express their sadness over the situation and wish for 21 Kid's safe return.
When I heard about that the little boy had ran away, I was like, oh, that's not a joke anymore. He's gone. So his brother needs to be in jail for child cruelty.
Just because he got the answer wrong, they don't give you the right to take advantage of it. But at the end of the day, I hope they find him. Pray to God they find him. Keep my prayers to him.
If you're watching this somewhere, kid, come back home. Just walk away from the things. Ignore your friends. If they're teasing you, just ignore them.
Well, I think it's rather sweet that these guys would go out of their way and make these videos to show support for the 21 Kid who was supposedly missing. These guys would actually look pretty silly in the long run, because this article, this Hustlers thing...
Morningstar Farms, America's favorites, made from plants.
Where is this blaze spawn? I saw a bunch of blazes coming out.
It's a complete and total hoax. It was a satire piece. Hustlers is actually a satirical pop culture blog responsible for
I'm in the middle of something.
famous internet hoaxes. You may recall Hustlers from a previous video I made about Flappy Bird, where Hustlers suggested that the creator of Flappy Bird killed himself because the pressure of managing his successful game was just too much. These guys are in the business of creating sneaky headlines that trick non-observant readers, and this was another slam dunk case for these guys, because there's people out there that still believe this story to this day. So if the Hustlers article isn't true, do we at least have another sighting of 21 Kid? I mean, that would be some nice closure to absolutely prove that the story that he ran away and never came back was actually false. Well, there is actually
Bruh!
This is where a lot of people
go away from
this
me.
topic beforehand have gotten the story wrong. On November 26th
How?
of 2014, a video was uploaded to YouTube that went viral. It was called 21 Kid is Not Missing, and the video appeared to show 21 Kid in the flesh with his older brother, with the two dismissing the hopes that 21 Kid had gone missing.
Oh my god, I hate gas, man.
Yeah, tell them, nigga, man.
This video got hundreds of thousands of views, but there were a lot of skeptics who watched this video and claimed that the kid in it wasn't the actual 21 Kid. It was just an imposter, and these guys were trying to make a gag for some quick views, saying something along the lines of, it doesn't really look like him, it's just a kid that looks similar, blah, blah, blah. To me, the resemblance is pretty clear, but there's a lot of people out there that thought that this wasn't really him. And I'm not just saying this, it's actually like most people report the story this way. There have been many videos and meme encyclopedia articles created co-signing the imposter kid narrative, including the usually on-point knowyourmeme.com encyclopedia. It's reporting that this wasn't really the kid. The thing is, though, this was totally the kid, and I have some proof which I consider to be somewhat obvious, but I see most people completely miss. And hey, I'm not dunking on all you guys who have done this video or done research on this before. There are some weird elements to this story that make it confusing. Part of what has made this topic difficult to research over the years is that, one, people forgot Dre Hype MSU was the Vine page that originally uploaded the 21 Kid video. And two, after Vine's shut down, the only way you could visit a user's page is with a direct link. So with that said, let's get into the proof that I found. So I was actually able to locate a direct link to Dre Hype's Vine page. And not only does it feature the original version of the 21 Kid Vine, it also contains the 21 Kid is Not Missing video as well, pretty much proving that it's the same two guys, the brother and 21 Kid. The 21 Kid Missing Vine on Dre Hype's page is also dated before the YouTube video that was uploaded, further suggesting that this was the OG source of the clip. Also on this page, we actually find the real first name of 21 Kid himself. It's not Habib. Dre Hype reveals that his real name is Xavier. This page also contains several other Xavier the 21 Kid Vines that the greater internet public has probably not seen, which I'll play several of them here.
Man, the people want to know, what's 9 plus 10?
21.
Hey. I'm trying to holler at you, bro. I think she like 10, though.
11, so shut the fuck up.
Fuck. That nigga watching Mario porn. You watching Mario porn. Hey, what type of girls you like? The wet one? Hey, bro, you know you famous, bro?
Yeah.
You got like 200,000 revinds, bro.
So yeah, the 21 kid's name was Xavier, and he didn't run away forever after the 9+10 Vine blew up. He actually stuck around and made several more videos with his brother for fun. The final appearance of Xavier the 21 kid on Dre Hype's Vine page was on December 5th of 2014. And as far as I'm aware, this was the last sighting of him online in general.
That's only 8. I need a couple more.
Why not? Double son. 21. Stupid.
It's unknown exactly what Xavier is doing nowadays. I don't know. He's probably just doing little kid stuff. He didn't even seem that old in the original clip. He's probably a young teenager at this point, doing his thing. Maybe one day he'll come back to the internet and address his fame in a more direct way. The point of today's video wasn't to catch up with him nowadays. I more so just wanted to debunk this old rumor because I have people emailing me about it a lot and also leaving comments down below requesting me to cover it. Well, I finally did it, guys. Hope you're satisfied. While the 21 kid may be missing in action from the internet at the moment, his Vine video is still very much popular and is being remixed to this day within 21st century humor videos and other irony-based surrealist memes. And that's the beauty of the internet right there, a place where you can just upload a random clip of you joking around with your little brother and it becomes seen by
Stop the workday and start your getaway with fresh outdoor collections from Living Spaces. These pieces bring staycation.
So do you guys remember Zillion OP, the Twitch streamer who was banned from Twitch in 2013 for allegedly faking a disability? I talked about him earlier this year, and if you haven't seen that video where I tell the story of the situation surrounding his ban, I highly recommend you watch that video before watching this. But the too long didn't watch version of the old story is this. Zillion was a streamer who apparently claimed that he was paralyzed from the waist down and would never be able to walk again. He always streamed in a wheelchair, and viewers would often donate to him out of sympathy. Until one day, he suddenly stands up out of his chair when he thinks the camera's not rolling, and people felt duped. The clip of him standing up became known as the Zillion Miracle. It went viral, and Zillion was quickly outed by the internet at large for being a fraud who faked a disability to get a leg up on Twitch. Shortly after the story blew up, Zillion was banned from the site and essentially banished entirely from the online live streaming community. By 2015, he would essentially disappear from the internet, never to be seen or heard from again. Or so we thought, because very recently, Zillion came back, and his return is what we're going to be focusing on today. In April of 2020, Zillion quietly made a return to Twitch under a new identity. It's Bluish. Hoping to keep a low profile on Twitch, Bluish made no mention of his former self and streamed World of Warcraft for a small audience, all while hoping that nobody identified him as Zillion under his new blue hue. But eventually the connection between Zillion and Bluish was made. On June 10th of 2020, Zillion's perennial enemy and Facebook hacker Hypnotical caught wind of the It's Bluish account and identified him as Zillion.
They're mad at me.
Quickly rushed to Reddit's livestream fail subreddit to expose Zillion's return to the masses. His post read, streamer Zillion OP, banned for faking a disability, has returned under a new alias and just got partnered. And he added this clip to boot. Once livestream fails caught wind of this, they got big mad. Zillion's alter ego was exposed and his cover totally blown, leading to many reporting his channel to Twitch for ban evasion and others sending angry tweets to Zillion's new It's Bluish Twitter account informing him that he had been busted. After realizing that Hypnotical had blown his cover, Bluish booted up a Twitch stream and addressed the frothing masses. And in this stream, he did indeed confirm that he was Zillion. But that's not all he did in this stream. He made a bold assertion that the going on 8-year story about him faking a disability was bogus, suggesting that the widely thought to be truth surrounding his story were exaggerated bits of misinformation parroted throughout the years. And he had some
come
pretty
on,
solid
I just
proof
want to
that
heal.
supported the idea that he didn't outright make up a disability for Twitch.
Oh, come on, man.
I started off with no cam until Stream wanted me to get a cam. I ended up buying a camera. I was in a wheelchair at the time. There was never any ploy to, hey, you're in a wheelchair. You should start streaming, or like, you should fake being in a wheelchair to start streaming.
This is the important part.
I can go into my Facebook here and just show you guys a little bit. If I get to my page on Facebook, I've actually used Facebook. So, let's see. If I get to my page. I wasn't sitting there trying to fake anything or try to be someone I wasn't. This is me outside.
Did you guys see that?
This is me out.
Oh my god. I got so extremely lucky.
So look at this date. I don't know when this guy's video of him.
Gotta run. We don't have literally any time to like think about this. We have to run.
June 12, 2012.
Courts, I don't need courts. Just get me out of here.
Not on stream.
Being in stream, and before I ever started streaming, my beard's much shorter there. I was in the wheelchair beforehand. Me at concerts, me out traveling, me out doing everything. This was just like I was in a wheelchair. I did get better, and I am obviously no longer in a wheelchair. The video was made out very much to be that I had tried to become this person who is in a wheelchair to
it's hard for him
to get money off of people and to show my disability in such a way that it was a way for me to gain money or viewership or whatever. Zillion/It's Bluish was able to produce Facebook photos dated just prior to the date of him originally streaming, which show him out in public in a wheelchair. Admittedly, rather convincing evidence that pretty much proves that he didn't outright create a fake disabled persona to get big on Twitch, as many outlets have reported over the years, including myself. Even with showing these photos and explaining his situation, this stream mostly fell on deaf ears. His account was terminated for ban evasion literally hours later. He then went over to Mixer and streamed for a bit, but then Mixer got shut down, and now his last bastion of hope is YouTube, and that's where he remains to this day. But Zillion/Bluish isn't taking all this lying down. Lately, it seems like he's been more vocal than ever regarding the old fraudster narrative, and seemingly begging anyone to take a second look at his story. Like, for example, here when Zillion challenged the old narrative within a recent video created by a small YouTuber named IDoRL, called The Untold Story of Zillion OP. In this video, IDoRL gets into contact with Zillion and shares a Twitter DM conversation they had, in which Zillion again points out that all of the articles and videos targeting him over the years don't actually have any direct proof that he was never disabled or required a wheelchair prior to streaming. I'll post IDoRL's video down below if you want to check that out. They talk about more in the video. And this is where I sort of become invested in the story.
Or at least until we're
in early
super
September, I finally got up to speed on all the Zillion news, his return as Bluish, his subsequent ban, and the stuff he was saying in regards to him faking a disability and all. And of course, the photos that he was able to provide. And it got me thinking, what I'm about to say was actually a point brought up by Ido in his video, but is it possible that we could just maybe have a cancel culture situation on our hands here? I mean, the guy literally has photos that show him in a wheelchair just a month or so prior to him starting streaming. And yes, I know what you're thinking. We all saw him stand up on camera and seemingly walk away for a second. But, I mean, just because someone is in a wheelchair doesn't mean that they're completely 100% paralyzed. And sure, there's the famous story that the girlfriend says after he stands up about the dog peeing on her and stuff. It seemed hella suspect and that she was trying to cover something up or distract the viewers. Easily out geared.
Our dog, oh my god, we took our dog,
like to the fish shop today.
But Zillion makes a good point in the DMs with I2RL that even if she was watching his stream, Twitch lag would likely prevent her from reacting to him standing up so quickly. When you consider this stuff, I think it's perfectly fair to take a second look at this situation. So it became clear to me with me making the previous video, the only responsible thing to do here, with Zillion now back in a public light, would be to reach out to him and ask for his side of the story. I wanted him to have a chance to address the many allegations thrown his way over the years. Allegations like he begged for sympathy donations, constantly told people that he would never walk again, that he raised $10,000 for a wheelchair and spent it on something else. It's been almost 8 years now, and outside of an old deleted apology video that only had a few thousand views, Zillion hasn't really said much about the old situation. Let's give him a chance. With the help of I2RL, I got in touch with Zillion.
Introducing Galaxy Buds Pro. It sounds like you're here, even when you're...
Shut up.
Alright, be honest with me. As a kid, did you ever intensely focus on an object and try to move it with your mind like how the Jedi used the Force in Star Wars? If you answered no to that question, you're a goddamn liar who hasn't tried to do that. But seriously, I think we can all remember a cringy childhood experience where we tried to channel the superpowers of a fictional character and use their ability in real life. So where the hell am I going with this? Well, today I'd like to tell you all a story. And that story is about a kid who tried to attain one of the most coveted of all fictional superpowers, if you will. He tried to go Super Saiyan. In February of 2012, a teenager named Jalen would take to YouTube and film his attempt at going Super Saiyan. While it's debatable if he ever achieved his intended goal, one thing's for sure. His attempt garnered a lot of online attention. Jalen's Super Saiyan transformation video would go viral, starting a site-wide trend of additional Saiyan attempts from other YouTube creators. And the Super Saiyan mania that Jalen created on YouTube, that was him just getting started. I want you guys to walk with me and learn how this kid not only spawned a YouTube Super Saiyan sensation, but became known as a troll and a rapper respected by the likes of Howard Stern, Etika, and 3Pac. This is the Jalen the Super Saiyan story. Before we get into Jalen's Super Saiyan attempt, let's talk a bit about his online origins. Jalen's first publicly available digital footprints appear in January of 2012 under his old Jalen Thomas Twitter account. There he can be seen sending banter-filled tweets to the likes of Little B and Soulja Boy, with the topics of these tweets ranging from music to women and Dragon Ball. And all things considered, I actually think this is a perfect introduction to who Jalen is and what he's all about. January is also the month where Jalen creates his YouTube channel, Killa Charisma. His Killa Charisma bio provides even more insight into his interests and personality. I'm a very strange character. I like performing social experiments. It's hard to put me in one category, and I'm random, but I always do things for a reason. You never know what to expect from me. And with that stated, several weeks later, Jalen would upload a bizarre video to his channel that certainly jived with his self-assessment. This video is the now infamous Super Saiyans Are Real. The video itself starts with Jalen in a very serious tone expressing his desire to become a Super Saiyan and discussing his frustrations with the limitations of being a normal human being.
What's up, YouTube? This is something that's been on my heart for a long time. And, you know, all I ever wanted to be in life was a Super Saiyan. You know, ever since I was a kid, I used to always look up to Goku and Vegeta, Gohan. I used to just look at them and just wonder, like, how come I'm just a human being, you know? I'm so worthless. Oh, what can I do? I can run. I can jump. I can flip. And it's just like, we are so limited as human beings. And I just feel like, when I see superheroes, you know, why can't we be that exciting and that awesome?
After laying out his dilemma, Jalen proposes that humans can overcome these existential limitations using the mind or force of will.
During that time of meditation and just thinking about it, I realized something. All of that is possible and more. It's all in here. It's all in your mind. Think about anything that you ever tried to do. you thought to yourself, man, I could never do that. But then when you practiced it, guess what? You got better at it and you actually achieved it, didn't you? It's the same thing when you look at superpowers. Of course, it sounds absurd when you first look at it, but if you try it, if you actually set your mind to it and believe, you can achieve it. I saw a Chinese man set a piece of paper on fire with just the power of his hands. Now you gonna tell me that was fake? No, it wasn't fake. He channeled that energy from within, and he believed, and he channeled that energy through the creation of his mind.
One might imagine that Jalen's philosophical ramblings would continue on for the runtime of this video, and it would end unremarkably. But if that was the case, I wouldn't be here telling you the story. Instead, what he does is actually attempt to go Super Saiyan by screaming at the top of his lungs inside of his...
Need a change of scenery? Kayak searches hundreds of travel sites for hotels and vacation rentals with free cancellation.
Shut up, ads.
You can do it, and I believe I can be a Super Saiyan. So this is my first time exposing this
How did I
to
catch
the
on
world.
fire?
I'm going to attempt to go Super Saiyan on film, and I'm going to upload it to YouTube.
Cool.
My name is Jalen, and I am a Super Saiyan.
Initially, Jalen was somewhat mocked and ridiculed for his video, with many online commentators considering it to be total cringe.
I'm rolling back up in his head. He was loose.
How long is that video? Like 5 minutes? Yep, 5 minutes, 30 seconds. It's the worst.
Oh my God, why is there a gas there, especially now?
Seek professional help.
While the hate was certainly there, this negative sentiment towards Jalen would quickly be phased out, as there were others who held an entirely different perspective towards Jalen and his video. They felt inspired by it and Jalen's message of ascension. So following the example left by Jalen, members of the YouTube community would attempt to go Super Saiyan themselves in a massive reaction video craze I like to call Super Saiyan Mania. Buckle up, because you're about to hear
I think we should just mine up to here. At least it's safer.
Hundreds of creators from across the site gave it their all, trying to break the barrier and become legendary Super Saiyan warriors. Many tried, all failed, but goddamn was this entertaining to watch. Naturally, during the height of Super Saiyan Mania, Jalen received a lot of attention on social media. And as a part of this attention, he got questions. And one of the most popular questions he would receive was, Jalen, were you trolling with this video, or were you being serious? And this is a fair question to ask, as with any video this ridiculous, you always have to consider the troll option. Well, after being asked this question a slew of times, Jalen would actually answer the question on his Killer Charisma Facebook page. And here was his response. A lot of people ask me if I was faking or sincere. It's kind of hard to explain. I have multiple personalities, so the one in that video believed what he was saying. But a part of me did it as a social experiment just to see how people would react. All in all, I believe there are powers that we can achieve if we stop limiting our thinking. I believe you can achieve anything with the power of your mind, and that goes for anything, not just being a Super Saiyan. If not in the literal sense, we have Super Saiyans among us every day. Army troops that fight and die for us every day are Super Saiyans. Single moms struggling to raise kids on their own are Super Saiyans. Know what I'm saying? I actually find it interesting that he labels what he did as social experiments. When you consider Saiyan Mania that followed his video, I think that's actually a pretty apt label to put on it. So at this point, Jalen had been on YouTube for a grand total of 2 months and had already spawned one of the most interesting reaction video crazes in YouTube history. What does he do next? Create a Jalen the Super Saiyan video series? No, he becomes a rapper and R&B singer.
I just wanted to take this time.
We made a promise to redefine everything a truck can be.
Shut up.
Let's talk to all the sexy ladies on my Facebook friends list.
In April, Jalen starts creating hilariously vulgar music under the name Killa Charisma, and one of these songs would bring a whole new level of infamy to the Killa Charisma channel. That song was called Jacking Off to Your Facebook Pictures.
I just wanted to take this time, you know, talk to the sexy ladies on my friends list on Facebook. Feeling so lonely. I want you, girl, to be my tenderoni. I log in on Facebook and I start to look at them pics, and it make my dick so hard. I feel the pressure rising, girl, rising for you. And I'm finna jack off to you. I'm jacking off to you.
What?
Jacking off to your Facebook pics, to your Facebook pictures, your Facebook pics.
I have a light, right?
Sexy girl on my friends list.
No way.
You posting pictures.
I had.
Just know the jack off bandit is on the loose. I'm jacking off to you.
What do I do? I could. There's no
You have any
way.
sense of humor and you're not just being willfully ignorant here, I think it's pretty obvious that there's some satire to this song. I think it's clear that Jalen is trying to be funny with this, and he's not to be taken 100% seriously. But even though to me or you it might seem obvious, at the time people totally thought that this guy was just some fucking weirdo who was actually going around jacking off to girls' Facebook pictures, and they reacted accordingly on Facebook. On YouTube, sorry.
Hey, y'all, that kid, Jalen the Super Saiyan, he done lost his damn mind. Have y'all seen the video he just made recently? Talking about what he be doing to girls' Facebook pictures? Oh, man, that kid need to take his dadgum tail down to that dadgum schoolhouse and get his education.
And some crazy dudes will take that person and be like, man, you might check off to my sister or my cousin. I got a 12-year-old sister, 13-year-old sister that has a Facebook picture. Now, she always taking those pics, man. I swear if I see that dude beating his stuff off my sister, I'm up.
Whoa! What the fuck? Dude, oh my
I know I'm gonna be losing like 10 levels, probably even more because Minecraft is gay like that, but.
Radio shock jock Howard Stern had something to say about Jalen's song.
You gotta see this guy. He's Killa Charisma. That's his name.
And is he good looking?
No, there he is. Where is he? Oh, there he is. And he has that face on, like the look of love. Look at him. He's a kid. If that was my kid, you know. I was like, dude,
I hope his parents can't hear what he's singing.
I would explain to him, dude, it's not cool because
Okay, now we
chicks are not
respawn.
gonna dig knowing that you're jacking off to their Facebook
Now we
pictures.
go.
At this time, it seemed like Jalen was creating a jokester persona for himself. becoming somewhat of a troll.
And then we need to go right behind the portal, and then we should have all of our stuff.
Might have actually been serious, but his subsequent endeavor with the Killer Charisma song makes that hard to believe. Nobody could really be 100% certain as to what Jalen's creative motivations were. Whatever the case, it was clear that he had a gift with making waves within the YouTube community, and he would continue on doing this. He would actually be interviewed over the phone by Howard Stern later in the summer, and in this interview, he divulges some of his creative philosophy behind what he does online.
Killer, think about this. What do you want to do in life? Do you have any ambitions in terms of work?
Well,
Where's my diamond armor?
I actually wanted to, you know,
Maybe I didn't get everything. Let me go back with nothing on to see if I can grab anything else.
Well, because what I'm thinking is, like, let's say that doesn't work out and you have to apply for a job someday.
You'll never be president with that on YouTube.
Right, like, Killer. Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, let's say the comedian thing doesn't work out. Let's say you're not that funny, and then you go for a job, and then they see, you know, you fooling, clowning around on Facebook, talking about, you know, pleasuring yourself to women.
Right, on Facebook.
Right, it could.
Bruh, this game sucks. I tried to click something and click something else.
I'll just have to claim it as my twin brother or something.
Oh, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. The thing about this song, it's kind of like a mix of joking, but it's kind of serious at the same time. I'm going to just be honest like this. I guess you can say it's kind of like a mix of satire and like allegory. Like, cause like there's actually like a lot of dudes on the internet who prey on girls.
Right.
That do post these kind of pictures, but they actually like lurk them, try to find out where they live.
Yeah.
Right. People end up, you know, finding them, raping them, and killing them. So I was kind of making fun of that in a way, but like also like trying to put it in girls' minds that they might be wanting to be careful about like what they post sometimes, because you never know.
Yeah, I guess I never had Diamond Torso.
Might be behind a computer that's really creepy, you know.
Oh, I see.
After the fame or infamy granted by his Jack It Off to Your Facebook Pictures song, Jalen would continue on in the summer making more of these explicitly vulgar, funny rap songs. In the summer of 2012, he teamed up with YouTube rapper Joseph on Deck and created the now famous track Anime Pussy.
Inside so fly, got some anime girls, they all wet, never dry. Got some anime girls and they all Japanese, living life to the fullest. It's my anime dream, get it? Anime pussy, anime pussy, anime pussy, anime pussy, anime pussy, anime pussy.
While this song wouldn't go viral when it was initially released, it would gain popularity many years later thanks to a rather uncanny yet memorable cosign from Etika. Rest in peace.
And I want a silver coffin, and at the fucking funeral, the only song that I want to be played is Anime Titties. There's a song called Anime Titties. No, Anime Pussy by Joseph on Deck. If you guys can, like, remember that, I'm saying it right now. Video form. Years from now, when I pass away, you guys have an archive of my final desires. This is what I want. You think it's going to change when I get older?
Jalen's last song uploaded to his channel was a Christmas-themed rap song uploaded in December of 2012 entitled Merry Christmas Ho. But after this, Jalen's creative endeavors on YouTube would abruptly come to a halt and his channel's upload stream would cease. Throughout 2013, the only activities shown on his channel were in the form of comments that he left on other videos. And in true Jalen fashion, most of the videos he commented on were Dragon Ball related. While it was clear that he was still around, it was unclear as to why he stopped making videos. He had thousands of followers and a solid fan base and a proclivity for going viral. It didn't make much sense at the time as to why he left. Fans hoped that perhaps Jalen was working on a large-scale project, but that hope would be squelched in 2013 whenever his entire video catalog was mysteriously deleted. His channel was now barren, and after the purge, Jalen never uploaded to the Killer Charisma channel again. The last time that Jalen was seen on YouTube, to my knowledge, was in 2014. In this video uploaded to the 3Pac HDTV channel, he can be seen at Atlanta Centennial Olympic Park hanging out with none other than the late-famed YouTube rapper 3Pac.
Don't give a hoot about the wax shit. Be getting shit, you know, I don't give a hoot. I don't give a damn. Yeah, you doing it. I don't give
cameo/crossover with 3Pac, Jalen aka Killa Charisma has seemingly vanished from the internet. Jalen's disappearance is quite the mystery. Or it was quite the mystery, because something crazy happened after I announced I was working on this very video using my YouTube community page. In all my attempts at trying to track down Jalen during the research for this video, I came up empty-handed. But to my surprise, after announcing the project, Jalen would come out of hiding. A day after making the community post, I got a message from an Instagram account that initially looked like a bullshit sock account claiming to be Jalen in an attempt to fuck with me. But soon after accepting messages from this account, some audio messages came through, and after hearing these audio files, it became clear that this was the real Jalen.
So yeah, man, please just reach out to me as soon as possibly can. If you want to talk on the phone, I would like to talk on the phone with you. I would like to ask what you are presenting. Just please, bro, just please reach out to me. This is really me. This is really Super Saiyan Jalen.
Jalen asked for the
When you put your money in the bank, it doesn't just sit there. It goes out in the world and finances things. So ask yourself, what on earth is your bank financing? To learn about what we finance and what we don't, visit us at bankofthewest.com/change.
My birthday's in 5 days. For those who can't make it to me, my Cash App is this. Anything is fine. Thanks. Update. I see that a lot of you all liked this yesterday, but no one dropped anything in my Cash App. Let's try it again. If I tagged you, that means I consider you a friend. Let's make it happen. No, this is not how you get money at any point in time ever. The fact that you even consider this a viable option to exploit your friends for money is so ridiculously trashy. I can't even imagine that you'll have friends after posting like this. Like, dude, people just aren't going to give you their money. And if they are, they'll do it willingly, not because you pressured them into giving them money. And if pressuring them into giving them money does actually work, just know that they're probably not going to talk to you anymore. What's going on, Modern Chodes? It's your boy Long Nail, back again with another new video. And in today's video, we're going over the hot posts from r/trashy. Let's get into it. Imagine thinking your spouse's job defines you. Army wife. I could just imagine this, like, stay-at-home wife. Like, dude, well, why are you getting this tattooed on your arm? I get it, you're proud, and it's your body, you do what you want, but this is just a little over the top, don't we think? This is how little kids cough. Oh, look, it's the chick from my last video, or maybe it was 2 videos ago, where she just absolutely tormented this poor Uber driver because he asked her to wear a mask. Look at that. Totally fits. She does act like a little kid. Top posts. Human poop. Yep, this should be interesting. There's been someone pooping into plastic grocery bags and spreading them throughout our neighborhood for years
it's
now.
abandoned.
I posted about this before.
Frick.
Well,
Well,
I just got home
free
from vacation
loot, I guess,
to
but
2 bags of human waste in my yard. Well, not only that, but my dogs got into it and are throwing up human feces in my house. I am so beyond livid. The ops haven't done anything. I'm either testing for DNA with an internet kit or setting up cameras for 24/7 monitoring of our street so that this ends. Once we catch this person, they're getting sued. Yeah, this is literally trashy, and also, I think this chick doesn't understand how those tests work. Like, these DNA tests, unless you have a full database, which I have no idea how you'd have access to that, that's not going to give you any reliable info. You're not going to be able to match the DNA to anybody. But I get what you're going through here. I would also be extremely livid, and I would probably want to do the same thing.
Extremely poggers, because actually
and to whoever
you
this
need it.
grocery bag poop artist is, all I have to ask is, why? Why are you doing this? My wife, who's 29, aborted our baby over astrology. Yep, that's right. She did it because the child would be a Sagittarius. I'm upset because we were trying for a child. My wife and I have been married for about 3 years. So what you're saying is you were only married for 3 years. Like, if I got married to somebody and they pulled this after you guys intentionally got pregnant, this is just so ridiculous, dude. Like, you know, like, the month they're going to be born in, I can't deal with that. They're going to be a bad child. No, they wouldn't have been, but you didn't even give them that chance, which, and if I was this dad, I would just, I would leave to say it simply enough, especially if it's over something as ridiculous as this star sign or whatever. Yeah, that's just, that's a no-go for me, dog. Dinosaurs are not real. Read the Bible. Yep, that's enough. You need to see me. For some reason, I feel like the kid definitely isn't the one who filled that out. It's almost like, I don't know, somebody implanted that idea.
Reddit, my wife aborted our baby.
My wife got an abortion without telling me. We've been together for 10 years, married for 4 of them, and I thought I'd found the person I could spend the rest of my life with. We've been wanting to start a family for a while and have been trying quite frequently until the pandemic hit. She lost her job and my job got even busier, with me often not coming home for a few days as I'll have to stay at work. When I do come home, I'm often exhausted and just go straight to bed, so we haven't spent a lot of time together or been able to have sex. Last weekend I had to go about renewing some documents for us both, which involved rooting around through all our files, which is where I came across an ultrasound dated from April. It's definitely hers, as the accompanying papers had her listed as the patient. I was overjoyed and thought she was pregnant and hiding it from me as a surprise, but then it clicked that by this point she'd be showing, so I decided to ask her about it. This is when the truth came tumbling out. She found out she was pregnant in early April, freaked out because of the pandemic and me not being around. She didn't tell me as she could see I was shattered from work, which caused her anxiety to increase. She decided she couldn't raise a baby like this, went to see the doctor and decided to get an abortion. As she was less than 10 weeks pregnant, they gave her some pills to take and that was the end of it. I haven't really spoken to her since. I feel like she should have at least told me before making a decision, and that she's shown she has no respect for me whatsoever. We both really want kids, but she said she couldn't handle doing it alone. She wouldn't be alone. At the moment I don't really know what to do, but I don't think I can continue living with her, and I've been sleeping at work for the past week. We haven't spoken apart from a few texts from one another to see how the other is holding up. Is divorce really the only option here? I don't see any other way to deal with it. She was panicking and overwhelmed and could not see any clear path. She felt like she was alone. She probably made that decision because she felt completely disconnected from you. You have to figure out if you can accept that she felt that way and therefore made the decision she did, or if you can't. You have to decide if you want to leave your life with her and create a new life. Here's the thing, you don't have to make that decision today. You can decide not to decide and try to rebuild your relationship. I think therapy for both of you as individuals and eventually as a couple would help both you a great deal. Does she know you're actively avoiding her due to the news? If she does, the fact that she's only sent a few texts is kind of strange. I think you're thinking about this the wrong way. Ideally, she would have told you and you would have supported her. You need to talk with her about why she didn't feel she could tell you. Did she think you would have pressured her into keeping the pregnancy? Would you have? Why jump to divorce to avoid a hard conversation? People have weddings and don't know how to be married. Are you telling me that after 4 years she's still acting like she is single when big decisions come along? You can try marriage counseling, but this would honestly be a deal breaker for me. You are supposed to be a team, and team members are honest and open with each other and work together to find solutions. One person unilaterally deciding things for the entire team is a major violation of the trust necessary to maintain a successful team. Also, I am firmly pro-choice, but in the case of the two of you deliberately creating a life and then destroying that likely perfectly healthy life on purpose is, to me, callous and selfish. Yes, it is her body and she has the right to do whatever she
Personally, I don't
wants with
think
it,
people
but it
should
was your
be
baby
making
that she
babies
asked
for
you to
at
create
least
it
a
with
year
her.
because of the
That,
overpopulation.
to me, means that morally she owes you an
But
opportunity to voice your
there will be
opinion.
those
There are some comments about
the
understanding her
200
choice
girls
because of
are
the
like,
pandemic and
I
freaking
want a
out.
baby.
I honestly
And
think
then when
that
the
is
government
bullshit.
finds out,
She should
then they
have
can't
talked
really
to
do
you.
anything
It
because
takes
it's
a
a
positive
baby. And
pregnancy
then everyone will be like,
test.
oh,
It
they
takes
allowed
a
that.
phone call for an appointment. It takes picking up your
So I
medication at
really
the
don't know
pharmacy.
what they could
And
do,
it takes
but
however long she
nothing
needs to take
really
her
could affect
medication
the
for an abortion.
overpopulation for a while.
Are people actually saying that they understand her need to have no communication whatsoever when she could have picked up the phone and called up? Divorce isn't the only option, but I understand if that is the only option you are thinking about right now. It's valid to have this as a deal breaker. So, she was pregnant for 10 weeks and had doctor's visits, and it sounds like she was stressing out about the whole thing and Op didn't notice any of it? She should have talked to Op, but it sounds like Op should also be talking to her. I totally get why you're upset, and I think it's fair that you're upset. I also think a lot of men don't truly understand the gravity of being pregnant and giving birth, especially in the age of COVID. She felt alone. Whether or not she actually was is irrelevant. She felt that way. It's so easy to dismiss emotions and mental health issues if you've never had any. You said her anxiety increased. I think you should cut her some slack here. Should she have talked to you? Probably. Do I understand why she didn't? Yes. The question you need to ask yourself is, do you still love her? If you do, reassure her that she's not alone. Tell her she's not and back it up with actions. Clearly she felt alone. I understand why you're thinking divorce, but could you not try couples counseling first? Raising a child is not easy. You really do need both parents present and working together. Would you actually not have been around? Asking sincerely. I hate to say it, but I wouldn't be positive the child was yours in this instance. You say you were exhausted from work and the two of you were barely having sex. She wouldn't be the first wife to use an abortion to cover an affair. I don't think there is any way past this. This is a breach of trust and honesty that would be insurmountable to me. I would question what else she is hiding or hidden. This is a huge lie by omission that she seemingly never was going to tell you about.
Let's do fire aspect.
I don't understand how people are actually siding with the fact that it was okay for OP's wife to do this. This was a complete breach of trust. You have every right to be hurt and to be angry. If I were you, I'd take my time. Think about counseling or divorce. If you don't think this is something that you can come back from, go through with the divorce. If you want to try and forgive her, then you can try counseling. Her feelings matter and the communication clearly wasn't there, but there is no excuse for this behavior, bottom line. She was out of line, end of story. If she confessed on her own, it would be better. However, she hid this from you and EAS never going to tell you. I think the most important part of this story is that she felt alone. She felt she would raise this baby alone. If you try to see that from her point of view, then I think your marriage is salvageable. Your sadness is valid, but remember she was at point where she was disconnected from you and felt overwhelmed and panicked. Divorce is not the only option here. In fact, it shouldn't be one at this stage. Please talk and communicate. Go through some counseling if you need that. This would have ended my marriage for sure.
What?
You both are trying to conceive.
What?
You both need to be on the same page.
No.
You think after a baby comes along you don't feel lonely and have other obstacles to hurdle? This is totally disgusting how she handled it. You're married, FFS. She never brought it up to get support from you even. I'd be doing a lot of thinking if I were you. It's understandable to want to wait until you're in a stable situation before having a new baby. However, you guys are married, which means you have a shared life, and it's extremely wrong for her to make decisions that affect both of you on her own. This has rightfully damaged your ability to trust her, and only you can decide if you're able or willing to ever trust her again. Therapy is a better first option. If you want to fix your relationship, then that is the path forward. You both have decided to avoid having perceived painful discussions with each other. Maybe before deciding on divorce, you should sit down and have those discussions, and consider counseling before continuing to avoid and pull the plug. If neither of you will face this, and if you divorce, more than likely both of you will exhibit the same behaviors in your next relationships and continue to fail. Try to at least go down fighting, instead of turning tail and running. Here's a saying, you cannot carpool with someone going in a different direction. I think you should look into marriage counseling. You say your job is still keeping you away for days. So, if she had continued the pregnancy, she would be alone a lot of the time. You also don't mention her finding a new job. Also, the pandemic and the chaos this year had been, anxiety and panic are common. That doesn't mean your feelings aren't also valid, but to say that hers are as well. Get a therapist and go from there. I think her wanting an abortion was reasonable and more so her choice considering she's the one birthing it, but with that being said she should have notified you beforehand. Some honesty couldn't have hurt anything. She could have been open and said, so I found out and pregnant, and I really don't want it right now. I'm going to go and get an abortion, and I'm just asking for your support right now. That is so easy to communicate with a so. I wouldn't leave over it, but it's definitely something that needs to be talked over with her, and that she cannot hide these types of things from you. Yet, if you feel like there's trust broken, you're more than allowed to leave from that. She was wrong to hide this from you, and you have every right to be upset. With that said, she has every right to abort, not that this is an excuse for her deception. I think you should discuss why she felt she had hide this from you. Maybe there are some underlying issues. Either way, good luck. Yikes. So much toxic femininity in the comments. It shocks me how often this situation come up on Reddit. Like another poster said, unless there is possibility of extreme harm from the partner or someone living in an abusive relationship, I don't understand how a conversation doesn't even happen when concerning married couples. It boggles my mind, and for me, I'm a woman, this is unforgivable and is an instant deal breaker in a marriage. The partner should always be told and a conversation should happen so the other is at least aware. That is not the behavior of a good wife. At all. Not even close. It's time to take an inventory of your relationship and come to a conclusion about if this is the type of person you can spend a lifetime with. That's not a little fib or little white lie. That's a huge thing to not tell you about. It's a deal breaker for me. I would file a divorce. She is rude and doesn't respect you. She didn't make the baby by her own. Y'all were actively trying to start a family together, then when she got pregnant she decided to get an abortion and not tell you? I might get a lot of hate for this, but holy shit, that would be a deal breaker for me. Y'all are married and she aborted a baby that y'all had jointly specifically been trying to have without even discussing it with you. That is a huge thing to keep secret from you with the likely intention of hiding it for the rest of your lives from you. When two people are married, they aren't just a really close couple, they are a team. You both had your game plans and it got you both to where you are now. You worked together for 10 years to get married, own a home, have stable finances, etc. Even if she felt alone and or wanted to avoid putting more stress on your plate, she still should have communicated something this big to you first before she went ahead and terminated your child. If the child was going to be born with health problems, mental, medical, and or physical, is understandable, but nonetheless still should have communicated her concerns with you. It's okay for this to be a deal breaker. If you see divorce as the only option, then that's the only option. Some people would also try therapy, but if you already think you're in a place where that won't work, then I'm not sure there's a point. Because you won't be open to it, so it won't help. There isn't a right answer to, is divorce the only option, because it may be the only option for you. Only you know that, and no number of comments saying yes or no can tell you that. So I agree that it's a woman's body, so woman's choice. However, you both are married, wanted children, were trying to get pregnant for some time, which makes you invested in the pregnancy. I think she should have told you. You both could have made the decision, and her going behind your back is disrespectful. You both should definitely seek couples counseling to see if you both can get past this. If you can't, then divorce might happen. However, if you want to try making it work and you can eventually find a way to forgive her, then you both will need to fight for the marriage. The heart of the matter is that she made a life-altering decision that affects both of you without consulting you. Her unilateral decision denied you the chance to make a mutual decision. She didn't respect you enough to...
Serious women who wanted an abortion, but couldn't obtain one for whatever reason,
What is your life like now? Fuck it. No throwaway. I was a stupid 15-year-old, and didn't think that I would get pregnant. It didn't help that the guy I was an abusive, manipulative, horrible human being. He didn't want to use condoms, so we didn't. He wanted to keep the baby, and when I said I didn't, he beat the shit out of me for considering ending something that was his. Luckily his mother found out, and told him she would kick him out, and stop supporting him, so he did a 180, and wanted me to get rid of it, but by that time it was too late. So I gave birth to a healthy baby boy, and gave him straight into the arms of a wonderful couple who love him more than words can say. I told them I didn't want any pictures or updates. I just wanted to make sure that he was loved, and that I hoped he would be nothing like his parents. My life now is pretty good. I don't regret for 1 second giving him away, and most days, honestly, don't even think about him anymore. But sometimes it comes up out of nowhere, and I do cry. I thought about trying to see how he is doing, but he will be 13 now, and that's a hard enough time of life that it is. I have decided that I'm not going to go looking for him, but he calls me, I'll answer. It took a long time for me to finally get the appointment set up at the hospital. The day finally comes, and I'm sitting in the room getting my vitals done, and the nurse crossed the line. I felt like total shit already, and kept crying, because it wasn't something I wanted to do, but I knew I wasn't in the position to raise another child by myself. The nurse kept asking me about the unborn child, like, do I hope for a boy or girl? If I could name it, what would I pick? I ran out of the room in tears, and cried in my car for about an hour, before I finally pulled out of the parking lot. I called different adoption agencies, and finally found one that I was comfortable with. I was able to pick out an amazing couple. They supported me through the rest of the pregnancy. Since giving my child up for adoption, I've gotten married, and had a child with my now late husband. I have an amazing job, about to go back to school for my MBA, and buy my first house. It is an open adoption, and I do weekly Skype calls with my daughter and her parents. She was at my wedding, and is still a major part of my life. I have no regrets, and going through with the adoption has been the hardest thing I've ever done, but I wouldn't change anything. My husband and I have a very beautiful 5-year-old. We love her tremendously. We wanted to abort her. We weren't able to do that. I'm not going to share my country, my daughter's condition, or any detail like that, because this is not about my country or its abortion policies, and I don't want to discuss those. I just want to share how I feel. We were quite happily married when she announced of her plans to enter this world. Since I'm using an throwaway account, I can speak openly and say that taking that pregnancy test was the most soul-crushing panic I've ever experienced. We didn't want children. We never planned for children. We had many reasons, but to put it shortly, neither of us thought we were fit enough to be parents. Ever since we had dated for 2 weeks, my husband confessed how he wanted to stay child-free, and after thinking a while, I understood it was exactly what I wanted to.
Lots and lots of iron.
He was over the moon. She is his princess. She is the biggest daddy's girl in this planet. On top of our clear desire for a certain kind of life, we had a very, very hard life situation that unfortunately we are still battling to this day. Actually, every day is even harder now. I'm not going to go to details, but financial problems, having some troubles at our cross-cultural marriage, even though the foundation was very strong. A very sick relative we are responsible of, health conditions, and struggling with my husband's condition and unemployment were enough to make me go grey in my 30s. Adding a baby to a mix, that is nothing but a fairy tale life is. It is hard. Every day I'm happy to see her, and I have experienced the most wonderful feelings of love, protective instinct, and joy I didn't know existed before I had children, but our lives are very hard. I'm responsible of taking care of her, unfortunately due to reasons that are not my husband's fault. All he can do with her is play and engage with her with ways that don't recommend physical strength. I'm exhausted, every day all day. It sounds horrible, but I've lost my will to live. I don't feel like I have a life of my own anymore. I'm nothing but a shell trying to keep us all together. I have nothing to myself. I don't have ambitions or dreams for the future other than making a good life for her. The best part of my days, when I go to bed, and have a few hours of sweet nothingness where no one demands or wants anything of me. I battle suicidal thoughts every day. I'm very barely keeping our heads above the water. Actually, even that is quite optimistic. However, will never hurt myself, and I want to strongly believe there is hope in the future. It has already gotten a lot better, now that she is growing up. The first year of her life was so hard. One day, after I had an hour of free time, I went to the rooftop. I never jumped, but it wasn't far away. I don't blame myself for that moment, since the sleep deprivation and combination of stress was so bad. I can honestly say I don't have almost any memories of her first 2 years. So that's my story. Thank you for reading. We were 19, and had just moved into our new studio, after being kicked out of our old one very short notice, which cost us all the money we had, and it was my work's off season, so we had no money at all. We could pay rent and our car insurance, but were struggling to feed ourselves on maybe $4 a week, and any game we could poach. It is a $40 round trip to drive to the nearest Planned Parenthood, so by the time we were able to save enough quarters to get there, it was a month too late. Now we have a wonderful 1-year-old son who we love dearly, but it still makes me so angry at how unfair the whole situation was, and how I should not have been forced to have him. I swear I don't care if I don't even know who you are. If you need to go to Planned Parenthood, I will find a way to get you there, because no one should ever be forced to have a child, because they literally can't get to a clinic. I wanted to get an abortion. I didn't think I would be a good mother. I have a horrid temper I got from my father, and I was told constantly by family members that I'm an uncaring bitch, so I worried if I had a child they would feel unloved, as I felt, because of my temper and my supposed inability to care for others. Well, I couldn't go through with it because 1, I was scared of the pain. Silly, I know, because childbirth, oof. 2, the procedure as described to me made me very uncomfortable. 3, I was on my parents' insurance, and was terrified they'd find out. And the most important reason is the father/my husband. To be clear, he wanted me to get an abortion, but he is such an amazing person and there is so much goodness in him, that I couldn't destroy something that was part him. If anyone else had been the father, I believe I would have gotten the abortion. Well, my daughter is 5 now, and she is the best thing to happen to me. She is so much like me, but also so much better. Since she was born, I have made huge strides in managing my temper. It isn't gone completely, but it is under much better control. I also realized that I'm not an unfeeling bitch, like I was told. I care deeply and completely for those I love, but I do not visibly react to things. For example, if someone tells me any kind of news, I process it, and may think, oh, that is great, or oh shit, that sucks, but I will rarely ever jump up and down or cry. Yes, I would have had less responsibilities without my daughter. Yes, I would have more freedom without my daughter. But I wouldn't be as good of a person if it wasn't for her. I would have had very little reason to make the efforts I have to change and grow as a person. I had her very young, and I do not encourage anyone to do what I did. It is hard, and most people are not emotionally or financially ready to be a parent at 20. But I lucked out with an amazing kid, who has been relatively easy, and an amazing partner who has gone above and beyond what I asked of him. I told him, since he wanted the abortion and I couldn't, he could walk away, and I wouldn't blame him. Not only did he stay, but seriously, he's been the most amazing person ever, and I would not have survived all the craziness that has happened without him. I'm a little late commenting, but I couldn't decide whether or not I should. I have a lot of friends and family on Reddit that could probably connect the dots and identify me, even with a throwaway. But I decided I shouldn't be embarrassed. Anyway, my boyfriend and I had just moved from our small hometown to Southern California. Life was amazing. We spent days off at the beach, went out dancing at fancy clubs in La, regularly went to Vegas just because we could. We were happy together and enjoying our 20s. I was on the pill, but a little spermy slipped through the cracks, and I got pregnant. I knew that if we were going to keep it, we would have to move back home, since we didn't really know anyone there, and thought we would need our families for support. We talked about it, and talked about it, until we were blue in the face. I was leaning towards abortion, but we couldn't come to a mutual decision, so I just sort of ended up just staying pregnant. We packed up all our belongings at the back of our convertible Eclipse, except for the furniture that we left with our roommate, and drove back home. We had to start entirely from scratch. We lived with his parents for a couple months, until we found an apartment. I had to take a job I hate to support us. Now my daughter is about 8 months old. I love her more than anything. She's honestly probably the cutest thing I've ever seen. She's been diagnosed with cutaneous albinism, and is legally blind. That was hard to come to terms with, but I do think she'll do just fine. She's smart as a whip, and is ahead of her peers in most developmental areas. I also really struggled with my mental health postpartum, but I've been seeing a therapist, and am doing better on that front. I'll admit that I'm a little bored with my life. For the first time, I'm working a 9-to-5 job, and stuck in a cubicle all day. I do the same thing day after day, and it's wearing on me. I used to have a job I looked forward to going to every day, but I couldn't afford to work there anymore. I do get anxious when we talk about our friends back in California, or the adventures we used to have. I regret leaving California. Our families haven't actually been very helpful. If anything, they just add more stress to our situation. They're great people. Babies just cause everyone to lose their fucking minds. I still love my boyfriend very much, but our relationship isn't as fun as it used to be. We used to have so much fun together, even if we were just sitting on the couch watching a movie. Now we are both so tired all the time. Overall, I don't think I regret having a baby, but I do really miss the way things used to be. My crazy ex got me pregnant, on purpose. My mother was forcing me to keep it, because she loved that guy. He manipulated her beyond belief. Anyways, I scheduled an abortion, did blood work. He said he would take me, and be my alibi. It's the least he could do, and he didn't think I'd get pregnant, and it was all his fault. It was easier to believe this bullshit than to accept that he had raped me, and got me pregnant on purpose. My alibi was I would go to the neighboring city with him for a weekend getaway, and I would miscarry. But I'd really get the abortion, and stay at a friend's place. He ratted me out. She said if I did it, my son and I would be kicked out. I had just lost my job, so I was fucked, or at least as a scared 19-year-old I thought I was fucked. I kept my son. My life. It's fucking awesome. My son. He's fucking awesome. He hates his dad. He never visits him, or at least refuses to when his dad tries. He screams and kicks and cries. He's 7, so I never force him. My husband took me, and my kids on. 2 kids, 2 different dads and all. We also had 2 of our own together. My husband gave his last name to my boys. Both boys call him Dad. First son hasn't seen his dad in years and is 10. I met my now husband from my crazy ex. I never would have met my husband otherwise. Surprisingly well, I became pregnant at 12, and ran away from home. I was lucky enough to find a kind older woman who helped me with everything I needed. I went to high school, and at nights we would study for my classes together.
Hey guys, I'm gonna have to end the stream a little early. I need to get some stock for my room, like food and drinks. So I'll be back. I might do a little off recording, but I promise I'm not going to create this series unless